Welcome back, everybody. My name is Emily Gear. I'm a multidimensional channel and a transformative energy healer. I'm here today with your weekly reading. It also happens to be a lunar eclipse today in Sagittarius. It is a full moon. And I believe it already happened this morning, actually, but we're still moving through those energies on today, June 5th, 2020. And so while much of last week's reading was about that energy, we're going to see what else wants to come out here this week. So quickly, I want to remind you of my website, which is here on the screen, where you can schedule a private healing session or reading, or also private, but at a slightly lower cost, recorded channelings or readings for yourself. You can find those on my website as well. Okay. All right, so let's move over here. I'm just kind of shuffling the cards here. What's coming out? What's coming out? I have to say, I have this big pressure behind my throat chakra right now, so I don't know what's going to come out. Sometimes it gets this way if light language wants to come out, but I actually feel it accompanied by an energy of, I almost want to say anger, but it doesn't feel as inflammatory. It just feels like a quiet internal rage, and it's a fire burning. I feel that. And the cards that just popped out are Temperance with the World in reverse. I want to say that wow, this rage is big. I want to say that we're in a critical rebalancing process, that much of what we are seeing, even the incendiary aspects of it, are part of the world coming back into balance with itself. And actually, the way I saw it probably a few minutes before I started this reading, when they often will start bringing the energies through before I even start. And that is where this feeling is coming from. It was behind my throat chakra before, now it's down through my heart chakra, which is somehow also how the light language comes out. It probably will come out later because I'm so sensitive about sharing it, so more than likely I'll subconsciously keep it blocked until I get off of the video. But what they're showing me is that this is an important and critical balancing period. It is much like the rising of the shadow within the self, when that begins to raise its head because it has been ignored and it has not been heard and it has not been properly addressed, healed, dealt with, integrated. It has not been properly integrated is the word they're using right now. Within the self, and this is of the larger self, of the unified self. That part of that shadow aspect is pushing out. I just feel like this, it's almost like the snake rising out of the heart chakra. I don't know if that is much like the Kundalini energy. I'm not feeling the Kundalini necessarily, but it is this rising energy, and it is very fiery. So it could be that there is sort of a Kundalini awakening of the world right now, which is creating this kind of incendiary energy that is coming out in various people in various stages of awakening or awakeness or whatever, however we want to talk about it, in different ways. And it's I actually feel like this sort of virus energy is also linked to it in some ways. My dog is freaking out, upset right now. So This, again, a critical balancing. Hold on, I gotta check the dogs. Okay, sorry about that. Hopefully I can catch the channel again. I completely have no idea what I was just saying. What they're showing me right now is the way that, and again, not trying to be controversial. If you don't believe any of this, then just don't listen to it. But the way that the virus supposedly attacks the immune system, attacks the cardiovascular system, and that in some ways that is what is happening on a global level, a societal level, national level, even for those of you who are here in the United States. But I think it's happening everywhere in a different way via that virus, whatever it is, and social unrest. And that this is part of the mechanism of the shadow revealing itself in our society. Now they're saying the critical component is the I'm trying to figure out the right word that they're trying to show me here. It's like a damaged coil. It's like something is damaged in the heart center, in the empathy center, but damaged is the wrong word. It's almost like under appreciated or under revealed or underdeveloped, that it is coming to a fruition, and that what is necessary here is obviously, as always, of course it is, a reconnection to the empathy center, the heart center, and that honestly, any rifts or divides can only be healed with unconditional love. And that is for the self and the perceived other, which is really only the self, because it is a reflection of the self. And it can't be anything other than that, because that is all we're able to perceive, is what they're saying. And so a lot of people are looking at this as like good and evil, something like, but it's not that at all. It's like the self meeting the self and being petrified of the self. And this is an awakening point. It's an awakening. And that it's not inaccurate to say things will never be the same, because it's just like when you awaken as an individual, you can't go back to not knowing, right? And this is the same situation. I feel primarily talking about the United States right now, but honestly, it is the whole world right now. We cannot unknow. And frankly, this is coming from Emily. Any pretending to not know at this point is willful ignorance. Like I said that earlier today, willful fucking ignorance. So sorry if I offend anybody, but there is just, it's just so clear at this moment, the way that they're describing it, that this is the self looking at the self, and the panic that ensues when you are faced with the reality. And this is the shadow part of the self raising the head. And whatever that is to you might be something different, because this is also an individual journey, not just a societal journey, not just a global journey, not just a universal journey. So whatever this is all bringing up for you right now is part of your own personal shadow that needs to be looked at, okay? For me, there's certainly a reactivity there where I'm like, angry at injustice. I'll just leave it at that, because I try to keep my personal stuff somewhat out of this. But what they're saying right now is this is part of the balancing. This is not, as we keep joking, like the end of the world. This is a part of the balancing. So if you want to look at it that way, it's almost like this is the birth. Wow, 6 of Cups to me feels like coming back to who you really are. Coming back to a state of purity, That's the word they're using, but I don't, it's, that word is so fucking ruined by religion and shit like that. But coming back to a state of innocence, of clarity. I mean, this, what better thing to represent that kind of innocent and clear and pure bond than a person and their pet, right? Especially a person and their dog. Like, that's me, all about the dogs. But I feel like that's really what we're getting to. Like, what is it to be a human? And where are we not seeing that in each other? Yeah, Six of Wands. This to me feels like just like, yes, that's the message, basically. I feel like this is what's needed to triumph. Of course, Six of Wands can mean triumph. I'm also feeling like the need to recognize this. There's two sixes here, first of all, unconditional love, but the need to recognize this in each other, and of what makes us human, and what scares us so much about others, and what we don't understand, because they're telling me now. And this doesn't necessarily make logical sense. I'm not trying to like work it out in my brain right now, but they're telling me now that the thing that scares you the most is the thing that you see somewhere in yourself. And that you fear it in yourself. Okay. That may be more of a personal message. It will resonate with you probably on some level. I'm not going to take it too far. All right, what other messages? Okay, let me just go with what other messages are here for the collective today. The King of Cups with the Ten of Swords. And that to me comes back to that that place of empathy. That it's an overhaul in the way that we see it. King of Swords, or I'm sorry, King of Cups with the Ten of Swords. It's the end of an era. It's the end of a way of looking at things. We will have to begin to live through that. I want to say, they're saying like the fifth dimension. So we're going to have to be able to do that. And while it feels extremely uncomfortable, it's terrifying. It is a very up and down. People don't know what is happening day to day. They don't know if the finances will be there. They don't know if the job will be there. They don't know if the family members will even be there in some cases. They don't know a lot about what's going on. It's very fear-filled time. The thing that will end this, the only thing that will overcome it, is the true empathetic connection to each other, realizing that we are not at all separate or different in any way, that we are each individually and together part of a whole, that the injustice of one is the injustice of all, and that this will be reflected in a myriad of different ways, as if you were to smash a mirror and see all the pieces reflected, different aspect of the image itself. And so we need to realize that each one of our experiences is both unique and also universal, and that this does not negate or make wrong the experience of another. I keep being brought to the Orion belt. I have no idea why. I'm not, to my knowledge, connected there. And what I feel is that I know nothing about this, so you guys might be able to fill me in here. What I feel is that something took place there which mirrored this kind of action, and that separation is to serve something as a terrible warning. What is that saying? If you can't be a good example, then be a terrible warning. Well, there's your terrible warning. And yet I feel that there will be victory here. And that victory means nothing of what we think it means. Queen of Cups. Yeah, that victory means full acceptance of the unconditional love of every other being in existence. They are showing me that full goal. They're telling me two things. One is that it is here now if you accept it. Number two is that it can also be very, very far in the future. So that we have a choice to make about what role we're going to play in this linear timeline construct. Or are we going to choose to live there now? 10 of Wands in reverse. It's as simple as releasing the burden. They're actually saying the burden of expectation, whatever that means. Again, not thinking it out, the burden of expectation. And this relates into and hooks into the fears that people are feeling. It's as if they are following a pattern or a path. They're following a pattern or a path that has been expected or learned or understood over time. And that is to in releasing that path, that story, that you are overcoming and you are choosing in the now to be in this space of universal, unconditional love. 8 of Pentacles. From this, I'm actually getting unlimited abundance. I don't know why. I'm getting unlimited abundance here available to you, but it is in your power. It must be in your power, combined obviously with the connection of source energy and opening up to all that is. But it is necessary for you to accept that and to make the declaration that you receive all unconditional love and abundance and invite it in for all of humanity and the entire universe, now and always. This is you being a light for others. This is you anchoring that energy in this three-dimensional plane, Queen of Wands. You being a light for others, anchoring that energy in this third dimensional plane. And the Fool, creating that new beginning. Eden, and Eden is what they just said, Eden. It's like a utopia, sort of. A new beginning, the beginning. This is obviously created on the inside, but then demonstrated by your actions and your words and your thoughts and your emotions internally, because all of those things make a difference. That is more about the energy that you're carrying and providing to others. I think that came out in last week's reading, so if you didn't see that, then definitely check that out. But to me, this feels very much like a reassurance that there is unconditional love and unlimited abundance available. It's that we need to choose it, and we need to accept your shadow, accept the shadow, accept the ugly underpart. And I don't mean lay down and be complacent. I mean stop fucking fearing it and see that it is creating the change. Once you are in balance with that and you're no longer resistant, then you become part of the balancing and not part of the falling apart, if that makes sense. It's kind of how they're showing it to me. There's unconditional love available to all, is what they're absolutely repeating over and over again. Six of Pentacles in reverse. Three of Cups in reverse. The hoarding to oneself, the separation consciousness, is what is creating the sadness, separation, the lack of joy. It is what makes you, okay, so here's the Six of Pentacles with the Three of Cups. I'm being shown how these three women are looking up to the stars. And I don't know which stars these are. It looks like the Dipper. I don't know what they're called. This is not my wheelhouse, but there's certain stars called the Three Sisters. And I don't know if this has anything to do with that, but what they're showing me is the Three Sisters, and there are these three women. And that as long as we see ourselves as others, as long as we hoard our gifts within, that we do not feel this connection, that we do not feel as the Three Sisters, that we do not feel, connection. And that this connection is a massive gift that we are refusing when we push back and resist the shadow. And again, what the shadow is for you is going to be different. It is the thing that you fear, and that is the thing within you that you are trying to identify as other. Okay? That is the thing to identify with and to be on some level in acceptance of. Again, I am not saying accept injustice, fucking burn that shit down, but we have to identify that within ourselves and stop resisting it, because that is what is creating the incendiary breakdown. Now, the breakdown is serving a purpose, that it is creating the new balance. And so, again, as always, you cannot be anywhere except for where you need to be. And so if you're in this state of like push-pull, if you're in this state of resistance, you're there for a reason. So forgive that and let the process happen. Let the regeneration begin. Let the transformation occur. Okay? And that is personally, professionally, societally, nationally, globally, universally. It is that big. Okay? Guys, I'm going to freaking wrap it right there, because I don't feel tired. I just feel like they're just like, okay, end scene. So I think we're done here for today. I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate all your comments. I hope I didn't offend anybody, but frankly, is what it is. So thanks, guys. I greatly appreciate your comments and your likes and your shares and subscribes, because that lets me know that this is meaningful to you, and therefore it's meaningful to me. Okay? Talk to you guys soon. Bye.